Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 112. Big Buck Steve on the mic, Big Smooth, and Fresh West. If you're watching on YouTube, which apparently nobody is, appreciate you actually liking and viewing. But thanks for all the listeners on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, please leave some comments. I know there's people out there listening, so it's great to see the listeners growing on the Spotify. If there's any topics you'd love to hear, that's great comments. So don't be afraid to leave some comments there. So I appreciate everybody. So here we go. Another week of the finals, right? So we had game one, game two. We talked about the start of finals last week. I think Boston at home, we kind of figured, it wasn't going to look good for Dallas with Boston at home. What do you guys think of the first two games? What's going on out there with Dallas? Uh, what can they do? Can they even win this series? Like where are we at right now? So let's talk about game one, game two first. What's their downfall here? Why is Dallas struggling?
Well, we talked about it. Dallas has to have big games from Luka and Kyrie to win, to have a chance. And Kyrie hasn't showed up at all. And so that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's Boston is more of a complete team. They don't need their superstars to be superstars to win. Dallas needs their superstars to be superstars, and that's what happened. But I mean, a series doesn't really start until a team loses at home. So
Yeah, I mean you end up in a game seven if everybody wins at home, right?
yeah.
What's your thoughts on game one and two, Wes?
Sucks.
It sucks.
Completely sucks, dude. It's for Dallas to play like that, like Kyrie, Kyrie's is not showing up, and I understand that. Boston's defense is good, but you got to pick your spots. Like you got to understand that you're not going to go in if Porzingis is in the game. You're not getting inside. It's not going to happen. He's going to block your shots. You just got to hit their outside shots. You know, and
They've
they're not.
definitely not shot a super high percentage, but neither is really as Boston. But a big difference with their outside shots, I thought, was it seems like Dallas isn't taking great shots from the 3-point line, where Boston, it's just like they've not shot well and they've been wide open most of the time. So Dallas, if you're not going to get open shots or you're going to take bad shots, you're going to shoot a low percentage from the outside. And if you can't get inside,
I think they should play another 20 games so all the players can be even more tired and more fucking fatigued. And Luca could lose a leg or something like that. And Porzingis, and it's ridiculous that, the finals basically going to end unless there's a sweep virtually in July. It's like, these guys are tired. They're spent.
But
His best basketball should be in the finals. It's just it's just not good basketball. And it's happened the last couple of years. You watch the finals, it's like, all right, he's tired. He's tired. Like, it's stupid.
I don't understand. I don't understand why they got a week off and then they get like 3 or 4 days in between each game.
Isn't that funny? That's why is Lucas so gassed and tired and hurt.
Well, look at him.
Kyrie looked
out of
gassed.
shape. I mean, look at Luka. Like everyone jokes about Luka, like, oh, look at him. He's dominating the NBA, but he looks like a big fat white guy. Well, maybe that's what his downfall is he's out of shape.
you watch him on a lot of plays and he doesn't hustle a lot. I think that hurts Dallas sometimes when he doesn't get back on defense. He doesn't block out a lot. He doesn't do a lot of the fundamental things around, the game. He's a great player. He's a great scorer. He's a great passer. But he looks at the official all the time, after a play instead of running back on defense. He's like, hey, where's my foul? And it's like, dude, you didn't get your foul call. Get back on defense, help your teammates out, because every time you do that, you make them have to stretch their defense off their player or, to help.
Well, and it's what I was saying before. Dallas is all offense. They don't have much defense. And so that's one of the weaknesses is, you have the Celtics who can be like, okay, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, you concentrate on offense. Holiday, and White, you concentrate on defense. Mavericks don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, Gafford, he played pretty well in the second half of game two. I think they need a big game out of him. He needs to play inside like that. He needs to get rebounds, play some defense and be that kind of dish guy. But what's that was?
I'd rather see Minnesota. I mean, I would have been happier with Minnesota.
I think it would have
They're
been a
gonna
better
play like that.
series. Yeah.
They're gonna play like that, dude. I'd rather see Minnesota.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see how they play at home. Of course, teams do play better at home, especially when you talk about the role players, because you get a little bit more out of your role players when you're at home. Like PJ Washington's a good example, right? He seems to hit more outside shots at home, which will help them a lot because he has not also been as good as he's been throughout the playoffs.
And then surprise, surprise, Porzingis is hurt again, so he's not 100%.
Yeah, I saw that injury, and you could tell his leg is not 100% for sure. So going back to Dallas, what does Dallas need to do? So it's still just if Kyrie doesn't score 25 to 30, they can't win.
I would think so.
No, he's got to score. Can't score 16 points. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, Luka, he scored 23 points in the first half. That's great. He only scored 10 in the second because he's hurt. And Kyrie doesn't do anything. They're gonna have to get PJ Washington involved. PJ Washington's gonna has to have about 20 something points
Right.
too. I mean, they got to get him. If they're gonna roll up on Kyrie like this, Kyrie's got to kick it to PJ or kick it out. PJ's got to hit his 3-pointers. They got to hit 3-pointers. They're not going to beat this team on the inside, obviously. Unless Porzingis is not going to play. So they got to hit their shots.
Right.
And
They gotta
what I don't understand is you got guys on the bench. Like, I don't care I don't understand if you only want to have an 8-man roster, then only have an 8-man roster. You have 12 guys on the bench. They all need to play. Some need to play for defensive. You need bodies. You gotta put Hardaway in the lineup just for the hell of it. You need a spark. It's like they have no offense.
Yeah, and they don't look good at all. As far as they're really sloppy, as when they're running their offense, Luka puts himself in bad positions late in the shot clock, and he's throwing these passes, to somebody, and here's the ball with 3-4 seconds. What are you going to do with it?
And then Tatum hasn't even played a good game yet either.
Right.
And they're up 2-0.
Yeah, and Tatum's been struggling for sure with his shot, but he's done a lot of other things.
He's done other things.
So
yes.
that's what the problem I have with Luka, right? Like he's still getting his stats, but he's not doing the other little things that Tatum's doing to help his team. And so, yeah, I mean, great. Luka's going to average a triple double with 30 points a game for the whole playoffs, but
Well, he has to because, if Tatum is like, okay, Brown, you take over. Well, Luka's like, hey, Kyrie, take over, and Kyrie doesn't show up.
I saw this stat. I don't know if I heard this right, but since he's been traded, he hasn't won a game in Boston against Boston.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And it's like 12 games.
Did you see for game 2, they like plastered his face on the Jumbotron, and it was
man.
You guys don't make that much noise.
The fans are relentless with Kyrie. They're just going after him the whole game. You would think a guy like that, right? You're supposed to be a star player. You'd think that'd be motivation, right? So that's I don't know. Yeah, Kyrie. I mean, but then going back to Dallas, right? So maybe they get a better game out of Kyrie. They have to stretch the series. You can't lose, obviously, another game, especially game three. You gotta come back out 2-2, right? Otherwise, it's a wrap.
Well, I was to go back on the point of like, because if this is 7 game series, yeah, it's like almost July when this ends. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about, I was watching a old World Series baseball game where they're going into like the 13th inning and they're like, okay, well, whatever happens, we're playing tomorrow at this time.
Yeah.
Not in NBA. It's like, oh, we're in Boston for 2 games. Let's take 3 days off in between each game.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but I do see, Wes made a pretty good point earlier, they don't look well, at least Dallas doesn't. Boston actually doesn't look that bad, but Dallas looks like they are getting tired.
Well, I could see like a day, but not like 2 or 3 days in between when there's no travel.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty silly, right? You're already in Boston. Why are you waiting?
Well, think about it. When you were in your 20s and 30s, do you playing a basketball game back to back days? Not that hard.
Yeah, coming down to the end of the
Now,
season, though. And then the NBA, they want to stretch it out a little bit, right? They want to maximize viewership. So it comes down to that a little bit as well. All right, so what's your prediction for the series finish right now? So it's 2-0 right now.
I still think, did we say 6 last week? Was that what it was? 6 or 5? I think we said 6, right?
Yeah, but they haven't played yet though.
Yeah, I'm still gonna say 6. I think Dallas will win a few games just because, but I still got
So
Boston winning.
Boston, 6 games. Wes, what do you got?
5 games. I think Dallas will win the next game, but I think it's over.
And then Boston wins the next two. Yeah. God, I almost want to say Boston's going to sweep them. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to go with a sweep. I might be wrong here, but I'm going to go with the sweep because Boston has not even played particularly well yet.
Oh,
In
really?
the first quarter in the first game, they killed it, right? I mean, that was ridiculous. But after that, I mean, if you look at the last 7 quarters and you look at Boston overall, like they could have played better, a lot better. So I'm calling a sweep. So 6 games from Derek, 5 games from Wes. I'm going to sweep. So sticking kind of on this basketball thing, this is interesting. So this is from Shaq says a lot of things. They all say a lot of things, but there's this Shaq had this comment about it wasn't even a comment, it was in something, but anyway. So he said these 5 players at their prime, nobody in their prime matched up could beat them in the NBA, right? NBA history. So here's the 5 guys he chose. So obviously himself at center. He's got Kevin Durant at power forward. He's got LeBron at small forward. He's got Kobe at shooting guard. He's got Steph Curry at point guard.
What's going on here? Who?
So let's, I mean, that's a good team. Like you think about it. I mean, you got a lot of scoring, a ton of scoring.
Yeah.
You got Shaq in the middle. You got, pretty, you got power, you got forwards that can handle the ball pretty well, plus score. You got Kobe, and then you got, one of the best 3-point shooters at point guard.
So if we're gonna take in their prime,
In their
right?
prime, who's the 5 we would match up against that lineup?
Well, Olajuwon in his prime beat Shaq in his prime. So, I mean, I'm taking Olajuwon. Um, Barkley in his prime was putting up just as much points as Kevin Durant. Bird in his prime, Bird is a 3-time MVP. Jordan in his prime, no one was stopping Jordan. We went over that last week about averaging 30 points in the playoffs, right? And then if you're gonna go point guard, you go prime. It's hard. I'd still go Magic because I mean he's basically what LeBron is, right? I mean,
He can play. He can play any position on the
yeah.
floor.
Well, against that lineup, especially too, because Kevin Durant is not particularly a great defender. So Magic would, I think, in that lineup you just gave, Magic and Jordan are your biggest wild cards, like the hardest for the other team. So Wes, what do you think? What would your five be?
Well, that's pretty accurate. Is what five? There isn't. It depends also like which era you're playing it. If we're gonna play in this stupid era where you can't even touch anybody and it's a foul, then yeah, Steph Curry has an advantage. He's gonna reign over everybody. Durant's gonna reign over everybody. But if we're gonna play in the '80s, where you can actually D people up, like it's a wrap. There's no way. Jordan, Magic, Bird. Do birds? Maybe I would. Elijah one is. It's hard to think of a better center than Elijah one in his prime.
To play defense on
But
Shaq?
yeah, I mean, I'm trying
Yeah,
to
he
think
did
of
it
a
pretty
better play.
well.
Yeah.
And he had
Barkley's a
like a
tough one.
million moves.
Can Barkley defend Durant?
Well, they'd
Can
be
Durant defend Barkley? I mean,
well. Yeah, you're giving up. I mean, you're going to give up something. You're going to give up points. You're going to. I mean, Durant's going to rain on Barkley,
what's
but
the rebound advantage though? You better hit your shots because with Magic and Barkley and Olajuwon, that I mean, you're getting every rebound.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it's helpful. Like I said, Magic's really helpful there, but he also then has to guard Steph Curry,
Yeah, but then Curry has to guard him.
right? So that kind of
So,
goes both ways there,
so you
right?
just post up Curry all day.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, Barkley's a tough one. I mean, Bird's gonna get his points, but then he has to guard LeBron.
Right.
So that's not an easy matchup for anybody, but let alone Bird, who's not the best defender, is like
Oh.
if you went with like maybe a Scottie Pippen, right?
Right. But Bird, what does Bird do best is head games.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look and you watch all the videos about people now talking about Larry Bird, because I think everyone thinks now they look at him just like they did in the early 80s before they played him. They're like, oh, some goofy white guy. We ain't got nothing to worry about until he goes and plays. And then now you've gotten people like Magic and like Dennis Rodman and Isaiah Thomas. They're all coming out telling stories about, oh, yeah, he is a bad mother.
Yeah,
And
no, I mean, Bird definitely doesn't get this era's respect that he should for sure. Especially then if you're going to put him up against LeBron and then make that comparison.
then if we're playing on this era's um, rules, how many 3-pointers is Bird going to have? Right? I mean, he can hit from anywhere too. He just back in the 80s, that wasn't the game to shoot threes, but we know he can.
Yeah, yeah, I have a hard time with. I mean, why wouldn't you put Jordan on the team?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. Like, I mean, Kobe's great, right? But if I'm going to say here's a team you can't beat, like I'm putting Jordan on that team.
Well, yeah, because I mean, rest in peace, Kobe, but he is a poor man's Jordan, right? If you're looking at, everyone talks about the next Jordan and everything. The only one that was close is in game and style and everything was Kobe.
Right.
He did it, just not as good as Jordan, right? I mean, he did really well. They were both super competitive. They were killers. Jordan was just better.
Yeah. I mean, Kobe got his championships. He got his stats.
Yeah.
I actually think Curry is probably the biggest handicap on that team, actually. Even though he can score and he'll get your threes, I just think, when you talk about all these great players we just talked about, who does he guard? Who does he out rebound? How does he just fit into that dynamic? That's tough. So I mean, I like it. I like looking at this and Shaq coming out with that and trying to match that up. I think Akeem, I would probably take Akeem as well. Like when you're talking about defending prime Shaq, like Akeem is the guy I would want doing that. Kevin Durant, Charles Barkley. I think you're right. Then prime Chuck, that's going to be a tough assignment for Durant.
Well, I'm thinking Phoenix Suns Barkley when he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
scoring. I mean,
Yeah, I mean he was really on his game when he was playing for Phoenix for sure.
got Phoenix further than Kevin Durant did.
Well, I mean that's a tough one. It's that's a good team though. So you got to give that team though credit when you talk about those five players. Those guys are some of the best to do it.
Well, yeah, Shaq's team is good. I like you. It's like, really? I get it why he's doing Kobe because that was his teammate and he's trying to make up for, he's probably feeling guilty that they really didn't make that big of amends before Kobe died. But you can't omit Jordan. That's just
I
ridiculous.
think he was also, it seems like he was trying to stay outside of himself. Even he played longer, but like more to this era with the players he chose. Like it, because he didn't
Well,
choose really
anybody.
any of the old era players. So maybe that was his idea was to like, fire up people to say, come back and say, oh, what about Bird? What about Magic? What about these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could just play Pippen at power forward, and then he could just shut down Durant.
Karl Malone would break Durant in half.
Yeah, but he ain't playing any defense on him.
You wouldn't have to just break him in half. How about that? We didn't even need scoring on that team. Put Rodman out there.
Right. Well, then you could put Rodman on Shaq.
Yeah.
That's so funny watching Rodman guard Shaq. That was good stuff. So that was just an interesting lights there. That was an interesting thing I saw, and I just was. Here's a team that somebody put together. They said Elijah Wan. You had Kevin Garnett at power forward. You had Pippen at small forward, Jordan at shooting guard, and he had Caitlin Clark at power point guard.
Well, the other one I was going to put out was, Isaiah Thomas in his prime.
Yeah.
I think that's a good matchup for Curry too, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a guy you could put on Curry, size wise, speed wise, game wise, and he's not going to hit the threes like Curry, but if he's guarding him, Curry's not going to be open a lot. So I mean,
Dude,
I
I
I
thought we were
hope
gonna
the guy
make
was
it through a whole
joking.
segment without Caitlin Clark. Oh my god. Putting Caitlin Clark on an all-time great team? Oh jeez.
I hope he was joking, but it was just funny
Nick,
because he went Elijah on
yeah.
down, and then it just
Caitlin,
cracked me up. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
speaking, let's talk a little Caitlin Clark.
Oh, dude.
I mean, the big thing now, right, is the Olympic team.
Right. I mean, I can go either way. I mean, you don't have Angel Reese or any of the other rookies on the team, so why care?
Right. The what bothers me though is like just say, you don't want her on the team. Don't like make excuses though of why she's not on the team. Did you
Oh,
hear him talk about we don't want to mess up the team chemistry?
no, they also said something about her not having the experience.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? Like this is the Olympics. You guys are girls. Like she can hit threes. Like she can get hot and she can hit like 6 threes. I mean, what do you mean experience? You
Yeah. I mean,
know?
she's played a lot of
Well,
basketball.
they don't want her to succeed.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
just want to hate on her.
it's unfortunate. I mean, even like LeBron came out and he was like, "Look, this has got to stop."
Like, yeah, it
He's like, "This is crazy."
it's like honestly, it does sound like hate. It also kind of sound like maybe she is a distraction because everything she does, I mean, the girl could do something and it's gonna be all over the news. And it's like it gets old. Like they treat this, it's just like any other figure in the media. Any popular president, anybody. It's the media that is the ones that prop these people. And honestly, all of America's like, we don't care. She's not that interesting.
Well,
Is she a good basketball player? Yes. But she's not the freaking Messiah. Okay. She plays basketball. She throws the ball into a hoop. Get over it. She's good at it. But do we have to spend our whole summer talking about Caitlin Clark? I would rather talk about beach volleyball.
Oh, I
Like,
like
give me
beach
some beach
volleyball.
volleyball, man. Get the
well,
Olympics coming.
Oh, I
the
love
thing
some
is
Olympic
this
beach volleyball.
the what the media is basically doing, and I know this, first when you hear it is they're gonna be like, what? Because it's not about the how well they were professionally, it's about their presence. But Caitlin Clark is just Tim Tebow. It's like everyone is jumping down and putting her down the throat of everyone, and people are getting all you're getting the people that are like love her and the people that hate her because she's thrown down your throats, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, that's for sure. And I think there's a little bit, and you got to understand how some of these players in the WNBA feel when that's happening, right? Because they work their whole lives to get there, and a lot of them are better players and put up better numbers, I mean, that's kind
remember,
of tough.
you know what's funny is everyone forgets about Sabrina Ionescu for, she plays for Oregon.
Yeah.
People forget that in the 3-point contest, she hit a lot of three. I watched that. She had like 37 3-pointers. And there was this talk about her going up against Steph Curry. And it
She did.
almost happened.
No,
And
she
it's like
did.
that is a distant memory. Like, it's like she's good too. She could shoot too.
It's funny. She got lots of hate last year too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I didn't never even heard about it. Now all you hear about is Caitlin
Well,
Clark.
Caitlin Clark, it's like to a whole new extreme. But I remember last year on like Twitter and stuff, like people like, oh, she shouldn't be talked about at all. Why does he
What? Because
Sabrina?
yeah,
And I'm like,
so dumb. It's just
but she's on the Olympic team.
yeah, she is. She's talking today. I was like, that's cool. But I
So,
mean,
I mean, yeah, and it's outside of media, outside of everything. I don't know if you guys are following much of Caitlin Clark, but the one thing that people don't get this is like she's just going to continue to get better. And so people are hating, oh, she's only averaging 16 points, and 6 rebounds and 6 assists a game. It's like that's pretty good, first of all, for a rookie. And what's she going to do in year 2, year 3, So she's just going to improve as a player with this new style of play, right? With getting used to how the WNBA works.
And they play, like we talked about last week, they play a front-loaded schedule.
Yeah.
So it's like she's going to get some time to rest, because with the Olympics and everything.
But I think I'm now on the same page as, just kind of what Wes was saying is like, I probably don't want to just keep hearing about this for the rest of the WNBA season.
No, I don't want football season at all to start anymore.
Oh man.
Not at all. I want to hear about this all summer.
Well, I think what makes people like want to talk about it and everything is like when you have a player who's so good for the game that's bringing tons of revenue to the game, getting it so like you can now take charter flights instead of having to
Right.
take coach and doing all that. And what do we get? What does she get? Nothing but hate from the rest of the league.
The more they talk about it, though, the more relevant it stays, though, and the more attention they get, and that's good for the game ultimately, right? Because it keeps people watching. Because the reality is nobody was watching.
Well, that's the thing. Before Caitlin Clark, because the WNBA is subsidized by the NBA. They lose money every year. And now they're talking like Kelsey Plum was talking like, oh, we might go on strike for more money.
I know. It's like, where's this money coming from?
It's not coming from ticket sales.
No.
I mean, I swear, like, dude, you get, it's.
Well, did you see the Indiana Fever game actually sold more tickets than game 1 of the NBA Finals?
Oh, that's gonna.
Yeah. Well, I get it. It was $20 tickets to like 500, but
right.
Yeah.
Still, have you ever heard of a WNBA team doing that?
No,
it's insanity. It's just, it's another fad. Like people are so morally just, they don't know where they're at. Now it's all okay. It's just like everything I can't let's watch sports. You don't have to sit there and make it a big deal. Like I'm enjoying watching baseball. And do I talk about it? Do I sit there and tweet about it? No, I watch it because it actually keeps me sane sometimes. Like, it's like I'm so sick of all the drama. Like, I can't even watch First Take anymore.
That's the problem I have with it too, is like, and I don't want to get into the drama because we stepped away from that stuff on the podcast, but the other drama that's happening around her bothers me, right? That's the kind of stuff that I don't want to, like, if you want to talk about her game, like if you want to talk about her statistics, talk about how she plays, these kind of things, that's fine with me. It's the other stuff that really drives me crazy.
Ugly. And that's the thing, it's ugly. And I've been watching, and I have to turn it off. I go, you guys are taking this way too far.
Right.
It's stupid. Like if it was some other player, I'm like, stop.
Right.
It's so stupid.
Well, and for me also, like, because I'm not going to say the word, the elephant in the room, but you know what? Brianna Stewart, she's a really good player, but she plays boring.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark is like a Steph Curry, going out there, shooting crazy threes, shooting from the logo. That's exciting.
People love it.
Right?
I mean, I'll tell you what, for me, it makes for more of an exciting WNBA game, because if you watch a whole WNBA game, there's parts of the game that are hard to watch. Like when they're up there, like, throwing the ball over the backboard and, and hitting the bottom of the rim over and over again, like 3 times on a rebound.
Like I'm watching like a 6th grade basketball game. I get it. But, at the same point, that's another problem too, is there's an entertainment value.
Right. And there's a lot more entertainment in that. To me, it's the deep threes, the coming off the screens, right? The hitting the logos.
Just
Yeah.
Steve had to bring up Caitlin Clark on this.
Well, we're in the basketball mode. We're in basketball mode right now. So
How about I've got
How about we
football
can talk-
trivia?
There's some croquet going on.
all right, let's go into the football trivia and let's check in on the NFL here.
Okay, this is a top 10 quarterbacks, oldest quarterbacks in the NFL history that have played.
Jeez. How far back does this list go?
Gosh, I don't know when he retired. Maybe like the 70s.
Okay,
Has to
that's
be
not too
Bland.
bad.
Yeah, Blanda's
Yeah,
number
Blanda's got to be number one, right?
yep,
Brady's got to
48
be up
years
there.
old. Huh?
Brady's got to be on the
Yeah,
list.
Brady's 2 at 45. So 48 and 45.
48, yeah.
I would think like Steve DeBerg.
Yes, number 3.
Yeah.
44 also 44.
Oh man. Oh
Steve
geez.
Burr was 44.
Yeah, he was old when he was
I didn't
playing.
know that. It's got to be. Well, we already got Tom Brady.
Montana's got to be close, right?
No, he's
No?
not on there. He kept getting hurt.
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon's number 5,
Wow.
43.
Let's see.
No, this. Um,
Oh, okay, so we've
Vinny
got
Testaverde.
yes, 4, Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny.
So now we got the bottom 5. Out of the bottom 5, there's only one that's not from our generation of watching.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's got to be Drew Brees.
Yes, he's number 8, 42.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Johnny Unitas.
Nope.
Brett Favre.
Yes, Brett Favre is
Yeah.
number 9.
Brett Favre. So we
Yes.
got Brett Favre, Drew Brees. So we got 3 left in there. 2 of them are from recent era. One of them's from the 70s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't sound
Okay,
like
okay, here's the
in
thing.
the last 40 years when we have been watching.
Oh.
Did this quarterback, who's not from our era, did he play in a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Oh no. So it's got to be in the 70s. It's got to be in the 70s. It's not Johnny Unitas. It's not Craig Morton, right?
No.
Definitely not.
This should be easy. For you.
Earl Morrall.
Yes. Earl Morrall.
Dude,
The Dolphins.
I'm such a nerd.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now you
I'd
got
have never gotten that one.
6 and 10.
6 and 10. Okay.
6 played for the Bears.
Jim McMahon?
No.
What? I don't know who it is. I said you were.
He must not.
What?
I'm trying to run
Wait.
through all the Bears.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bobby Douglas. I'm thinking, who else did he play for? He had to play for somebody else.
Buffalo.
Oh, Doug Flutie.
Yes.
Flutie.
Doug Flutie at 6. You're missing just number 10.
Dang, Wes, you're knocking these out.
I already.
This is going to be hard because that's probably on the edge of a lot of other players too.
Yeah, because it's 41.
I already said Drew Brees.
Yep.
Not Bernie Kosar.
No.
Birdie.
I'll give you one hint. This will help out a lot because this will narrow down a lot. Left-handed quarterback.
What? It can't be.
Didn't we already have the left-handed quarterback conversation?
Well, there's only Stabler. There's
He's got to be a little newer.
Oh, he has to be the modern era.
He I think he was a co-national champion in college.
Brock or Damon Heward? Brock Heward?
No.
No.
Oh yeah.
I think they won the national championship when he was there.
No, the audience is just
They're like, give it to us.
He
I don't.
played for the Jaguars.
Oh, Mark
Are you talking
Brunell.
Mark Brunell?
Yes.
What?
I thought it was a Washington when you said that.
Wasn't Brunell there when they won the national championship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was him and Billy Joe, right?
He didn't really start. He was kind of second to him.
That's a tough
Well-
list, though. I mean, Wes was knocking him out, though. That was good trivia. I like it.
It was funny when I watched when I'm going through and I'm like, I'm getting them all. And then like you know what, the one they got stuck on, it was no problem for you guys.
What?
DeBerg.
Oh,
I was
No,
like one of the first ones. I'm like Steve DeBerg.
DeBerg. No, I forgot about DeBerg too. I didn't say DeBerg. I totally
Because he
forgot.
played forever.
yeah, he did.
I mean, he was on the Niners with Montana first started. He was with the Chiefs. I think he was with the Falcons. I mean,
Yeah, he played a lot of teams too. Did he play for like Tampa Bay and like just all kinds of teams?
yeah, he played for Tampa Bay. Let me see. Let's get who on their bingo card said we're going to talk a bunch of Steve DeBerg here on the played for 18 years. He was Niners, Broncos, Bucks, Chiefs, Bucks, Dolphins. 5-year hiatus, then Falcons.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a good trivia. That was tough. It would take me a long time to get those. Let's see. NFL. I mean, Darren Waller retires. Everybody saw that coming, right?
It was funny. So we did our dynasty draft, and so people were auto drafting. My friend got so mad. I was like, "Look at my draft." I'm like, "Who drafted Darren Waller?" It was so stupid. I'm like, and then I realized, oh, they're auto drafting.
Yeah, no,
someone took Brady or something too, or something.
Brady was on. I almost drafted him for a minute. I'm like, nah, not good for a dynasty draft. It'd been funny though, dude.
Yeah, it's so
Bears.
fun
Dude.
when you're like a Raider fan and you're like, oh man, we traded Darren Waller for just a 3rd-round pick. And
Right.
now back we're like, we got a steal. We got a 3rd-round
Yeah,
pick
we
for
did.
Darren Waller.
That ends up being a pretty big steal, right?
Yeah, because they got Trey Tucker for him.
Yeah.
Looks like Bears and Texans are going to be one of the first preseason games.
I think isn't
Yeah,
that the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah.
Well, because what they've got, Devin Hester, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter. Caleb's not going to play. Not in the
No,
first.
I mean,
No way.
probably not in the first game. You never know. You might take a few snaps, maybe run a series.
Yeah, because they get 4 games, right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's not a lot of stuff really to speak of. A lot of returns from injury, right? So you got a lot of guys like Aaron Rodgers and the other quarterback.
Yeah, the news was like he didn't show up to OTAs today. Aaron Rodgers didn't, but that's normal.
Yeah, Kirk
Gonna
Cousins and
He's
Daniel
gonna
Jones.
could talk McCaffrey, the cover of Madden.
Oh, that's he's done.
Don't
It's
draft
all
him.
over for McCaffrey now. If you
He's
bet
like,
on the 49ers, you better take your money back. Dude, you can't be on the cover of Madden. Yeah, so not a lot of NFL news. I mean, we're still months out, right? But it's getting closer. When you think about it, August, you're only almost a month and a half now.
Pretty much a month till NCAA football comes out on the
Right.
PlayStation.
Yeah, so not a bunch of great NFL talk. So let's get into our top five for the night. This is what everybody wants to hear. This is why they're listening. The HSC top five. This week we're going top five Kevin Bacon movies. So he's
this
been in
is
a
hard.
lot of movies, first of all. However, this isn't as long of a list as I thought I would have when I started breaking them down.
Yeah.
I was thinking that this was going to be one of those ones where your list is super deep and you break them down, but there was some definite ones that were on the list that had to come off, which made it tough. And I think we might have some different ones in this one. So
It was hard because there are so many movies I don't remember. You know,
well, and you don't remember necessarily. I mean, for me anyway, I didn't remember him as much as I did some of the other people in the movies as well.
yeah.
I ran into that a lot. So let's go start off with number five. Um, go with the big smooth, Derek. Why don't you lead us off?
Number 5, his first movie, 1978, the All Is Well Animal House.
I mean, I've seen Animal House a bunch of times, but again, he does. I mean, I know he's in it, but he just doesn't stick out in it
I know,
for
but
me.
he has the scene where he's like, "All is well," and he gets
Yeah,
trampled.
right.
And yeah, he was the cadet in the ROTC. He's in a bunch of scenes. He just kind of plays the like, you know, one of the villain type people in it. So
Yeah, I mean, Animal House is a good movie. Can't go wrong.
it's number 5 because he's not in it as much as
Right,
him.
right. All right, Wes, what you got? Five.
I'm going dark at 5, and I'm going sleepers
Wow.
just
Yeah,
because it's disturbing. Like his
yeah,
character is so bad.
it
I
is.
kind of I thought of that one, but I left it off because he did. I was just like, oh,
It's
it's such a good movie.
so bad. He's so good,
Yeah,
but it's so bad.
he actually does a pretty good job in the movie.
Yeah, he does. Scary.
Yeah, and it is a little frightening to watch him. It was close. I mean, I'm not. It was one of those ones that I was back and forth on putting on the list to maybe take off. That was a
Well, I'm
tough one.
always here to scare our audience. So
Yeah,
go ahead and watch it, kids.
go watch Sleepers. You'll love it. I mean, I've got an old one to start here. Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Again, he's not a major, not the full part for him, but he's one of the people that are in the movie, and he gets regular scenes. And Friday the 13th is just such a good movie, and it's so long ago, and you're like Kevin Bacon.
I don't. That's the thing. I don't remember.
Corkscrew, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
So
and Friday the 13th is one of my favorite movies. So being that, he was in it, I had to put him in there. So I let Friday the 13th jump a couple to get that 5 spot. All right, number 4. Wes, what do you got?
I got Tremors. Tremors. That movie. I mean, it's just such a bizarre movie. Like watching as a kid is just wild. You
Yeah.
know. I mean, killer worms.
Dude, I love Tremors.
I mean, and I'm like, first I was like, why am I watching this? But it's a good movie.
And
It's
then
scary.
he plays a good part in it when you
Yeah.
got Fred Ward with him. And they actually do really well as a tandem in that movie. They're kind of opposite of their styles in acting, but they play the two guys that have to kind of be the heroes.
Mhm.
It's great. That's why I have Tremors at 4. So I'm right there with you. It's one of my favorite older movies. Just to when that comes on and you're like you used to watch it and you loved it, like then you watch it again. You're like, Tremors is on. I'm gonna watch it. I remember when it used to come on TV a lot, and I was just always watched a lot of Tremors. So, and the storyline's not terrible. I mean, look, we're not going to call it an Academy Award winning movie or
Dude, it's like
anything, but
Starship Troopers. It's like the same thing.
dude,
Like
it's very much like that where
yeah,
it's like you're like, really? But that's
it
cool.
works. Yeah.
So I definitely I'm right there with you, Wes. I got Tremors at 4 as well. So, all right, Derek, what do you got?
I got 1982 movie Diner at 4
Ooh.
with Gutenberg, Mickey Rourke, Bacon, Daniel Stern, and Tim Daly.
Up for best
Paul
picture.
Reiser.
Up for best picture.
It was.
Yeah, I think so. It didn't win. Gandhi won that year.
It was up for Golden Globe for Best Picture. It was up for Best Screenplay.
Oh.
But
Hey,
yeah,
Golden Globe's just good, man.
it
It was
has a
up for
combination.
Tony.
It wasn't his part, but like Mickey Rourke in the movie theater is a classic scene. I don't know if you guys know that part, but
I don't remember it.
he
Yeah, I've seen it, but
has
it's
some
so long ago.
well, he was telling, I forgot who he was telling, because going on a date, and he said, what you do is you cut a hole in the bottom of the popcorn and you put
Oh yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember that.
right there.
That's where that like originated.
yeah,
And then that's like a all-time classic joke for people now.
right. I mean, what Justin Timberlake song, right?
Now
And
I gotta, yeah,
Amber.
right. Now I gotta go back and watch that because it's been so long. All right, number 3. Man, I went back and forth with these two, which one I wanted higher. Um, and this is a little out there for most people, but really enjoyed this movie. It's The River Wild.
I haven't seen it.
And he just plays a good bad guy kind of, in that movie and there's a couple other good actors obviously in it too, but I just like the way that he plays that part. He's like the guy in the not the guy in the PG-13 movie. He's like the guy in the rated R movie that's not sure you really like. But yeah, he's good in that movie, and I actually enjoyed the movie. I think it's a good screenplay. It's a pretty good plot. So you gotta watch it, Wes. You'll love it. All right, Derek, we got three.
Three, I'm going because it's probably the best movie on this list, but because he's a supporting actor in it, I'm putting it three, and that's A Few Good Men.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's probably the best movie that
Yeah,
he's been in, right?
right.
Yeah.
And he has an integral part, but it's not like his movie.
Right. And he's overshadowed a lot.
Right.
Yeah, but it is, and there's another movie he's in like that too, but that this is a big one as well. So I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, you got to put it in there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody everybody loves A Few Good Men. Such a good movie. All right, Wes, what you got at three?
The same. I have a few good men.
Few Good Men. Yeah, I left it off my list for that reason because it's just there's too many other people in it. It's too obvious. Because also you could every person in that you'd be like, that's one of their best movies ever.
Yeah.
But it's still a great movie, and he does play a good part in it, an important part. All right, well, here we go. Getting back to the down to the last two. Number two, uh, who's this? Is it this Derek? Yeah.
I'm got so spoiler alert for my top last two. Footloose is not in my top five because I
You're
just
just
think I'm
killing
like
everybody's dreams and hopes.
well,
Yeah.
it's Footloose, so like I just put Footloose as Footloose. And I don't need it in any top five, but my top number two is a 1990 movie. That was his year. 1990, I feel like was the year of Kevin Bacon. But I'm going with another ensemble cast, but it's Flatliners. Such a good movie and so creepy when you're like 12 years old.
Yeah. No, it's intense. And there's a lot of good people in it.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
Like it's well written,
Well, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's Joel Schumacher even.
really.
Um,
But I mean, that was great. So it's hard not to not have flatliners in there.
yeah, I mean, Julia Roberts, Kiefer
Kiefer
Sutherland,
Sutherland, yeah.
Billy Baldwin, and Oliver Platt. Yeah, it was a Joel Schumacher movie. So it's like he can do that. He can do Lost Boys. He can do that dark, but then he goes and does Batman, and it's like fluorescent.
Right.
It's like he knows how to make dark movies.
No, they probably told him to do Batman that way. They're like, we need more
Yeah.
popcorn
We
appeal.
need nipples on Batman's suit.
We need more green and we need more bright white and silver. All right, Wes, what you got it to?
I got Wild Things.
Oh man. I love that movie.
Wild Things. I mean, talk about wild. That's like watching that as just out of high school. You're like, what is this, dude? Like, yeah, it's
I
just
mean, it is. There's parts of it aren't great, but it's still a pretty good movie. Like overall, there's some parts of it you're just like, well, I know why they made this movie.
yeah, exactly. And
So
again, there are Kevin Bacon movies that I have not seen that are better. I just
yeah,
never seen them. No.
Wild Things was six for me. I had it in there because it is such a movie I remember watching so much in
oh
the
yeah, it was one of the.
I wonder why.
It was one of those ones I took off the top 10 list as well, but it was right there. So two anticlimactic. I have Flatliners as well. Is really one a movie I really loved. So now you know what's wrong with me. But I watched it a lot though, because we had it though on VHS tape, and so I watched it a lot.
That's the other thing. It's like, oh, what shows we were watching when we were like 12.
Right. It was recorded though onto a VHS tape, so we didn't have the actual VHS of it. It was recorded from like HBO or something.
Yeah, it's on VHS.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I love Flowers. I think it was a great cast, but I also think that it was one of his earlier good roles where it was really like, wow, he's pretty good. So, all right, big finale here, number one. Well, a good thing Derek's last here because his top secret. What do you got at one, Wes?
I got Footloose.
How can you not?
I mean, yeah, even though it's one of the movies I've seen a lot as a kid. It's just, I mean, it's just such an iconic movie.
It
You
is.
know, I don't want to like it, but I do like it. You know,
Yeah, dude. And he's like, he drives around in the bug,
yeah.
the Volkswagen, and
Danson's the devil.
yeah, dude, it's the best. And he's like that bad guy, hero guy, gets to town dancing. Like, I mean, come on.
Let's dance.
But the end though, like it's one of those that's like I guess it probably as an adult, it's probably wouldn't pump me up as much as it did when I was a kid, but when they all start dancing and you're like, yeah.
He taught
Can you
us.
imagine? Can you imagine Tom Cruise playing the role? Because that's what they wanted.
Right. I mean, maybe. I don't think he dances as well as Kevin Bacon, but you never know. Just a little practice.
Well,
But
you saw.
can he get his shoestring caught on a tractor and win the tractor game of chicken as well as Kevin Bacon did?
I don't know. I mean, you saw him in Risky Business. He can do the slide across, the.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I gotta go with Footloose. It's one of my all-time favorites too. So again, not a surprise. So sticking with Footloose. So Derek didn't put him on though, so he can't have it at number one.
No, but my number one, you guys put lower on your list, and I'm kind of surprised, but it's Tremors, man. Tremors is his best.
Nice.
Tremors is awesome. I could watch Tremors all day. That movie is so good. My dad would be like, "Hey, Tremors is on," and we'd be like, "Boom, watching Tremors."
Yeah.
Him, Fred Ward, Michael Gross. I mean, the dad from Family Ties is a gun-toting guy with Reba McEntire, right? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, Reba McEntire is awesome.
Got Egg Chen there in it too. We got.
I mean, I do love some Tremors, but not as much as I love Footloose.
I don't know if I had to choose a movie to watch. I'm watching Tremors over Footloose.
It depends on how many times I have to watch it.
Hmm.
If it's just once, I'm going with Footloose, but I have to watch it like on a desert island for the rest of my life. I'm taking Tremors.
Although you'd be kind of freaked out on a desert island watching Tremors.
uh, Nobody put Apollo 13 on there.
Yeah,
I don't really remember it.
it was good. I
I
just remember it being very
watched it
boring
once.
and slow.
A lot of these movies I watched once. I don't remember. So,
When I watched it, I was too young to appreciate it.
I couldn't put it on my top five, dude, but I loved Hollow Man.
Ugh.
I
Like
almost did.
people hated it, but man, I really loved Hollow Man. I thought it was great. And that's one where he played like that guy, again, like maybe that's just him. Maybe that's just Kevin Bacon who plays that guy that you don't really like, but as the movie kind of like him at the same time.
I almost put The Big Picture and She's Having a Baby. Both of those.
Yeah, Holly's she loves that one. She's mad, or that'd be in her top five. She's having a baby.
It's John Hughes.
But it was a pretty short list, right? So there wasn't a lot of
Well,
oh,
the
but
other one that I was thinking
Whitewater
about,
Summer, dude.
well, Murder in the First.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually really good. Yeah, he did a good job in that role. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, but I thought he did really well.
Right.
Yeah, so although I realized the same as Wes did, like I realized how many Kevin Bacon movies I haven't seen.
Yeah.
So now I've got a new goal in life. I
That's
gotta
why
watch some
I was
Kevin
the king
Bacon
of the
movies.
I was the king of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I could do that anybody.
Well, it's because he's been in like 100 movies.
Well, it's because he's been in a bunch of ensemble movies.
Yeah,
Because it's the key is you take Sleepers, Flatliners, Diner,
and Few
take
Good
one of
Men.
those, Few Good Men, and you could
Well, Apollo
easily
13, dude, had Tom Hanks and
right. All 13, right.
yeah, and what's his name? I can't
Well,
remember his name, but
Bill
they have like four
Paxton,
guys in
Ed
it actually.
Harris, and yeah.
Yeah, Ed Harris and
Well, that's like it's funny. Is like Murder in the First. It's him, Christian Slater, and Gary Oldman.
right.
Boom. With Gary Oldman, you get True Romance. Look at that, and that just takes off from there.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's a bad guy in every movie too. So you got him in a bunch of movies.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's still a fun top five, though. It was kind of nice to look at a lot of the movies and catch a couple that I want to go back and see, and some I haven't seen in a while that I was like, I gotta watch this again.
Oh, and then I mean, honorable mention because it wasn't a movie, but the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen it.
Oh man, that one's great.
Oh, and no, he was in X-Men too, First
Yeah,
Class.
he was Sebastian Shaw.
Right.
But
That
in the
was good.
Guardians, Drax and Mantis kidnap him and bring him back to the planet they're on because he's Kevin Bacon and he's saved of the music. He saved the city from the music and dancing. He plays himself basically. It's awesome.
Basically plays himself from Footloose. Nice.
He just plays himself as Kevin Bacon. It's awesome.
Right.
That's the one you got to watch. It's only like 25 minutes, so it's an
Right.
easy watch.
All right. Well, it's another good top five. So let's just break it down real quick. I'll give mine. So Kevin Bacon, HSC Podcast, top five Kevin Bacon movies. Five, Friday the 13th. Four, Tremors. Three, The River Wild. Two, Flatliners. Number one, Footloose. Derek.
5, Animal House. 4, Diner. 3, A Few Good Men. 2, Flatliners, and 1, Tremors.
Sleepers 5, 4 Tremors, 3 A Few Good Men, 2 Wild Things, 1 Footloose.
Wild Things. Made the list. Love it.
Good. You know where my head's at.
Right.
So who was the other girl besides Nev Campbell in that? Was Denise Richards?
Denise Richards. Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, Denise Richards. I saw. Yep, it was her.
And then Matt Dillon and Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah. Matt Dillon's great too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We might have to start getting into two top fives here as the basketball season winds down. We could talk less WNBA. Can't wait for football season to start. So keep listening for that. Any comments, any top fives. Love to hear any comments on that, or just any other topics.
We got Summer Olympics coming.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's an Olympic year, so that'll be fun. All right, well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.